specific
That's your double
pipelines.
Standard.
It is not a double standard.
It is a double standard.
No, it's not.
You make billions of dollars off foreign
Poilievre,
pipelines, and you shut them down here at home, putting our people out of work.
The Trudeau Liberals are set to become the Carney Liberals, it seems. Hi, I'm Brian Lilley, political columnist for the Toronto Sun. Mark Carney may be sleepwalking into the position of Prime Minister. Liberals are the only ones that get to decide who their next leader is, but when they do that, they'll be picking the next Prime Minister. And despite Chrystia Freeland being in the race, and Dalla and Frank Baylis and a whole bunch of other people, it looks like they're coalescing, at least in the caucus, around Carney. And there are people claiming that, well, he's got to be the right man for the job because he's an economist. And we're about to head into a trade war with Donald Trump. Don't you know he saved 2 economies? Mark Carney has an impressive resume. And having covered him, he's a very nice, affable man. But does he have the right policies for today? Having looked at them, I would say no. Donald Trump is about to unleash the American economy. He's going to deregulate. He's going to allow the oil and gas exploration that America desperately needs. He will allow LNG exports to take off. He will fast-track permits for new electrical plants because he says due to AI and the electrification of the economy, they're going to need double the electrical production and capacity over the coming years. So Donald Trump is going to do a lot of moves. Oh, and cut taxes. He's going to do a lot of moves that will unleash the potential of the American economy. We know that the Trudeau Liberals have been spending the last 10 years trying to nail down Canada's economy and make sure that nothing moves, make sure that it is good for government workers, but not for innovation, not for productivity. Would Mark Carney be any different? Let's look at his role in the 2008-2009 financial crash, because that is a big part of his selling point. Did he save the economy with Stephen Harper? Well, he was part of a team. It was Harper, his finance minister, Jim Flaherty, and Mark Carney. Mark Carney didn't save Canada's economy, though. He was, as I said, part of a team. Flaherty and Harper were the ones making the biggest economic decisions at that time. They were the elected officials. Carney was an appointed bureaucrat, appointed by Harper, yes, but still appointed. What about when he went to the Bank of England? Was he a roaring success there? Not if you listen to a lot of Brits from both Labour and the Conservative side. He was appointed by the Conservatives. He's been criticized by both parties over his time there. One Labour MP calling him an unreliable boyfriend for his handling of interest rate cuts and the UK labour market. He was criticized for being politically involved in Brexit and not being neutral the way that he should have been. And it is admittedly a mixed record that he left Britain with. He said that the economic impact of COVID-19 and the pandemic would be temporary. It's lasted quite a long time. And then when he did come back to Canada in 2021, he gave an interview where he said that, well, he was worried more about deflation than inflation from all the government stimulus. You know who was actually saying that there would be a problem with inflation back in 2021 when Carney was saying deflation? Pierre Poilievre. He was warning about inflation coming because of the overspending of the Trudeau government. So Poilievre was right on one of the biggest economic issues of the last couple of years, and Carney, the economist, was wrong. What did he do after he left politics, though? He got heavily involved in environmental concerns, which appears to be his driving force. He was appointed by the United Nations to be a special advisor on climate change. He also founded an organization called the Glasgow Financial Alliance Network. And what they are all about is taking banks and financial institutions to net zero. Now, a bunch of banks have recently left Carney's organization, a bunch of American ones, and recently 4 big Canadian banks left. But this sort of thing does have an impact, such as banks deciding they're no longer going to fund any oil and gas projects. No more financing for your project if it involves fossil fuels. This is what HSBC did. This is where Carney's ideas lead to. Do you really think that he's going to take off the emissions cap that the Trudeau Liberals have put in on Canada's oil and gas industry? Do you think that he's really going to push for new pipelines? Remember, it was just a few years ago, Carney got into a heated debate with Pierre Poilievre on the issue of pipelines and the fact that he doesn't support pipelines in Canada, even while he was chairman of a company that spent millions and millions of dollars on pipelines in other countries.
Do you support the Prime Minister's decision to veto the Northern Gateway pipeline, Mr. Carney?
I understand the veto of the Northern Gateway pipeline.
You support it?
Given both environmental and commercial reasons.
Do you support it?
I think it was sensible. I wasn't involved in the decision, but I think it was the right decision.
And yet your company has invested billions of dollars in oil companies in both Brazil and the UAE to buy pipelines. You bought billions of dollars of pipelines as a company in the last 5 years. Do you support those investments?
Mr. Polyev, there is a global energy system, and one of the issues, I'm trying to explain a bit of how the economy works. One of the
Thank
issues,
you so much.
Well, it may help.
I'm not going to deny that Mark Carney is a smart man. He's incredibly accomplished, but his policies are exactly the wrong ones for the time that we're entering in Canada. We need someone who's going to deregulate, not over-regulate. We need someone who's going to cut taxes, approve pipelines, approve LNG exports. Well, that's not going to happen in Canada. You've got Carney backed by Stephen Guilbeault, the Greenpeace activist turned environment minister, and Jonathan Wilkinson, another environmental zealot in Trudeau's cabinet. And check out what Guilbeault told the National Observer, an environmental publication. He said that Carney is moving in the direction of tying bank financing to climate risks, meaning no more financing for oil and gas projects, that this will accelerate under Mark Carney. This is not the type of policies that we need now. We're facing massive tariff threats, but we're also facing Donald Trump changing the global trading order and unleashing his economy. If we don't react to that in the right way, Canada will be toast. Economically, we will be left behind. Mark Carney's policies aren't the ones that we need right now. Let me know what you think. Drop a comment down below, share this on social media, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.